Yeah, no, I used to go to Gold Gym, which I really love.
Mhm.
Then they shut it down in Loveland, and they just opened up a new one to go back. But why? That's by our house, and it's only like 5 minutes away, and it's super cheap, and there's no contract, so it's kind of hard to even pull away. I'm not like a huge fan of it. It's nice and new and everything. It's just always busy,
Okay.
but it's cheap, so I really can't complain. And it's like I said, 5 minutes from my house. Yep.
Hey guys, can you hear me okay?
Well, I don't usually work out. So,
Mister,
yeah.
look like a trucker.
I am.
Or something, convoy across the USA.
Breaker, breaker. It's rubber ducky.
I'm gonna change my internet access. It's really not very good right now, I don't think. Okay, that should be a little better. All right.
Mm-hmm.
You guys get ready to start here?
Yes.
Let's do it.
We're reading Colossians chapter 1, verses 9 through 14. Welcome to First Fruits, where we read the Bible every day, Monday through Saturday, 6:30 to 7 a.m. Mountain Time. I'll pray and we can start reading. Lord, thank you for our rest. Thank you for this new day. Day you have made. Help us to rejoice, glad in it. Soften our hearts to your word. All right. Colossians chapter 1, verse 9. And so from the day we heard, we have not ceased to pray for you, asking that you may be filled with the knowledge of his will and all spiritual wisdom and understanding, so as to walk in a manner worthy of the Lord, fully pleasing to him, bearing fruit in every good work and increasing in the knowledge of God, strengthened with all power according to his glorious might, for all endurance and patience with joy, giving thanks to the Father who has qualified you to share in the inheritance of the saints in light, delivered us from the domain of darkness, transferred us to the kingdom of his beloved Son, in whom we have redemption, forgiveness of sins.
I can read. And so from the day we heard, we have not ceased to pray for you, asking that you may be filled with the knowledge of his will and all spiritual wisdom and understanding, so as to walk in a manner worthy of the Lord, fully pleasing him, bearing fruit in every good work and increasing in knowledge of God, being strengthened with all the power according to his glorious might, for all endurance and patience with joy, giving thanks to the Father who has qualified you to share in the inheritance of the saints in light. He has delivered us from the domain of darkness and transferred us to the kingdom of his beloved Son, in whom we will have redemption, the forgiveness of sins.
Okay, so what's standing out today?
Hmm.
To fill you with knowledge of his will and understanding. And I'm thinking, wow, staying up after midnight on a Friday night And then I am very bleary-eyed, so I do not feel filled with knowledge and understanding whatsoever.
Yeah. Feel that way too.
Every good work. But the next verse was interesting also. That you may please him in every way, live a life worthy of him, and bear fruit in every good work, growing in the knowledge of God. And again, it took me back to yesterday's conversation about my neighbor and that kind of thing. Where it's just like, bearing fruit in every good work.
I like how it
Something I'd
says,
like to see.
yeah, I like how it says, verse 10, bearing fruit in every good work and increasing in the knowledge of God. I've noticed that I've allowed God to bear fruit in me. He increases my knowledge of him. You know what I mean? Like when I do things for the Lord, he opens my eyes more to his heart and the kingdom. So I've experienced that.
Another. Go ahead. No, you're good.
Oh, that's all I was going to say. What were you going to say, Lauren?
Oh, I was just gonna say kind of the same thing. That thought was supposed to stay in my head and it bleeped out my mouth. I was just saying that like I kind of feel the same. Like times I recognize when I like sacrifice like things that I want to do and things that I feel maybe it's my flesh wants to do, but then kind of decided like no, maybe I should focus on the Lord. Like you said, he seems like he opens up my eyes a little bit more and like welcomes me in, and I don't know, like I feel like I understand what's going on in the Bible more and like connect with this a lot better.
This is really good. I feel like this is good for like someone who's discipling. This is a good vision for someone who's discipling someone else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
Sure.
So Carmen and I are gonna we're starting a small group for the youth, for youth that want to get involved in music and leading worship. So we're meeting with people on our kids starting on Tuesday next week. But when I read this, it's like, okay, this is where my heart should be for them. You know, as we build relationships with them and encourage them and disciple them, it's like, oh, this is how I should view them. My desire is that they should be filled with the knowledge of his will, spiritual wisdom and understanding, so that they will walk in a manner worthy of the Lord and fully pleasing him, bearing fruit in every work, increasing in the knowledge of him. Huh. Verse 13 is real interesting. Oh, go ahead. What were you going to say?
It's actually off track, but I wondered what is going to be your method of teaching worship to kids, or teaching worship leading to kids?
I don't know. I think it depends on the kids that are coming, I guess. How they learn, or maybe really have a
Well, I mean,
plan yet.
Like what's your material? Like, here's how to stand on a stage. Here's how to
I don't know.
Wave your hand in front of a guitar and here's how to scream into a microphone. Or is it more than that?
I feel like it's more like, here's how to worship God.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it is. It's more about what is true worship.
Yeah.
According to the word. And then how to practice it in our lives. Seems like that's the place to start. If you're going to lead worship, they need to know what worship truly is. First, I guess.
Yeah.
I've practiced it. So that, I guess, leading becomes an overflow. It's a service. We've talked about this before, where I think where you spend time with the Lord, and then He fills your heart with His love, and then we overflow into others around us in acts of service. And I feel like worship leadership is this thing you worship God, and He fills your heart with love, and then you have a desire to serve others, to help encourage them to go into the throne room and worship their Creator. But we don't have any material.
Recording in progress.
I didn't get anybody bugging me.
Oh, nice. That's fine. That's good to know that we can use ours for it.
Well, but he has returned. We can't hear him.
While Damien appeared.
Okay, how about now?
There you go.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry, I'm in my truck, and I thought I had my computer plugged in, but it wasn't plugged in, and so it died.
I've done it.
Yeah. Apparently, my truck has to be running for the little AC outlet to be working. It's running. Anyway, so what else? What else is up with this verse? These verses.
Rescued us from the dominion of darkness, brought us into the kingdom of the Son he loved, in whom we have redemption, the forgiveness of sin. Big for me.
Yeah. It is awesome, isn't it? He has delivered us from the domain of darkness. There's a cross-reference here that I have on the phrase the domain of darkness. There's two of them. One is Luke 22:53. When I was with you day after day in the temple, you did not lay hands on me, but this is your hour and the power of darkness. This is your hour and the power of darkness. Huh.
Okay.
And Ephesians 6:12, for we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. We've been delivered from this domain of darkness and transferred to the kingdom of his Son, whom we have redemptionness of sins. The domain of darkness. Sounds like a death metal band from Finland. Domain of darkness. But it would be like,
Who knows? Maybe that's what Amon Amar translates as.
It's what? Say it again.
Maybe that's what Amon Amar translates to in English. Domain of darkness.
Domain of darkness. Let's see, I'm going to look up the word darkness. Greek. Skotos. Oh. So skotos can be physical darkness, or it can mean spiritual darkness, implying ignorance or error. But here can also mean the infernal spirits as the opposite of Christ. Let's see. What does it mean? We're in Colossians, so it means. See the reference to Colossians here. Guessing it's the second one, spiritual darkness. Eternal misery and damnation, sin and misery, as well as persons in such a state. The works of darkness, such works as are usually practiced by men in darkness or secretly. Interesting. What men do in secret, the domain of darkness. And transferred us to the kingdom of his beloved Son. This word transferred is to cause to move from, cause to turn to a different way of thinking, new situation. In the kingdom, there's a cross reference here.
Reference for the dark.
What's the reference? What does it say?
Mine's Acts 26, verse 18, and it says to open their eyes so that they may turn from darkness to light and from power of Satan to God. They may receive forgiveness of sins and place among those who are sanctified by faith in me.
That's Acts. What is it? Acts what?
What was
He
Acts 26, 18?
And I said, "Who are you, Lord?" And the Lord said, so starting it. Okay, this is when Paul gets knocked off his horse. Wait, he's telling about his conversion. Okay, verse 14. At midday, O king, or 13. At midday, O king, I saw on the way a light from heaven, brighter than the sun, that shone around me and those who journeyed with me. And when we had all fallen to the ground, I heard a voice saying to me in the Hebrew language, wow, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? It is hard for you to kick against the goads. And I said, Who are you, Lord? And the Lord said, I am Jesus, Ani Yeshua, whom you are persecuting. But rise and stand upon your feet, for I have appeared to you for this purpose, to appoint you as a servant, witness to the things in which you have seen me, and to those in which I will appear to you, delivering you from your people and from the Gentiles to whom I am sending you, to open their eyes, so that they may turn from darkness to light, and from the power of Satan to God, that they may receive forgiveness of sins, and a place among those who are sanctified by faith in me. He's telling this story apparently to King Agrippa. Thanks. Wow. It's interesting, in both of these verses, it talks about being delivered from darkness to light and being forgiven of our sins. Those two things are together. They're stated together.
Yes.
Isn't it true that, like, the things we practice in darkness, the sins that we commit in secret, keep us there? The shame, you know? It keeps us in that dark place. But when we bring things into the light, confess our sins to one another, that shame cycle is broken. We receive, the word I think is experience. We experience forgiveness. Shame is broken. Set free from it. Shackles. Okay, so I have something to share, and I'm only sharing this because I feel a reluctance to share it. Like, I have to keep it a secret. So for that very reason, I'm actually going to do the opposite. and that is that last. So when we go camping, like, it's pretty common that I'll like, okay, I'm gonna have a gummy or whatever. And so we're camping. We're up at the Scottish Festival up in Estes Park. We got here yesterday afternoon, and today we're going to go down to the festival and hang out, but we're camping at a KOA park up here. And last night I took like a 5 milligram gummy, which isn't a big deal, but it's enough that I'll have fun and laugh, and so I did that last night. And I drank, probably with it, I probably had like a 6.5 of wine, maybe, not a lot. So I didn't like go crazy. I didn't like drink a bunch or anything, but I did have the gummy, and I laughed a lot last night. But there's a part of me that feels like, oh, maybe I should have done that, you know. Maybe I should never do that. But last night, nothing bad happened. Like, there wasn't like, sometimes it turns out bad. Like, I'll get into an argument with Carmen, or things don't turn out well, or I do something stupid. Nothing like that really happened last night. It was just a fun time. Life. But
I mean, I don't see why you should be ashamed of that then. I mean, it sounds like, you were within excess. You weren't like going crazy. You had a good time. I mean, it's not like you've been doing it all week and stuff like that. It's the weekend. Like, you had a very successful previous week and last week. Like, I feel like you deserved it, honestly.
I appreciate you saying
and
that.
It's not like you're out partying either. Like, you're out with your wife. You guys are just enjoying your weekend together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it felt like there wasn't trying to like you're saying. I'm trying to discern, you know, to what extent it's okay or not okay. Part of it is like, well, what fruit did it bear? Last night, it didn't seem like there was bad fruit. Like, conversation didn't go to like bad places. It was just a lot of laughter and silliness, and almost like, I don't know, creating a memory, good memory in a way. So maybe you're right. Maybe it wasn't a bad thing last night. But there was a temptation for me not to say anything about it, because I was like, oh no, what are they going to think? So,
right.
So for that very reason, I said it. Anyway.
I appreciate you sharing. But
Well, I'll say it too then, because in my journey of getting over addictions and stuff like that, I look to online support groups and stuff, and they always bring up the idea of, just one more time it's the idea that one more time won't hurt. It's never one more time.
Mm-hmm.
It's always that one little, like, you grab onto that one more time, and that just drags you back in, or has a very huge chance of dragging you back in. And I admit, the past few days, my thought life has been, wow, I have not been able to get it under control for anything.
Huh. What do you think it's triggering? Or why? I guess why do you think that's being triggered? I think it's like work.
I'm really not sure. It very well. I mean, no, work and stress are not the trigger points. They're more the catalyst. They're what starts the whole thing. But the triggers, it's hard to tell. It's just one day I wake up and, oh yeah, I would love to get back into that.
Mm-hmm.
Start messing around online. Start reigniting old friendships. Start talking with people that are still in it. Start, joking or throwing around ideas.
I feel like for me,
I think
Go ahead, Lauren.
Go ahead, Damien. Oh, you can go. You're good.
I was just gonna say that, like, for me, what triggers me, I think, to be tempted in that way is when I don't feel like I have control, and I want to have, like, in some situation, it's a relationship or work or whatever, and I want to feel that I have control in some way. I think that's, for me, that's where looking at things online becomes a temptation, because it satiates that feeling for me, just temporarily. False, what is it? Like, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
Like, oh, you saw the advertisements on YouTube or something, which I absolutely hate and want to figure out how to block. Oh yeah, I can handle that now. I've been clean for well over 3 months. I can handle. Like, no, I really can't.
yeah,
And now I'm thinking about that. Now I want to get back into that, and no, you cannot. And this is where I start retying like this passage back to Romans, back to all the other things of, like, he's not only rescued us from the domain of darkness, but he has brought us under his rule and under his authority, and in so doing has given us power over these dark things. But will also come to our rescue, because like a couple weeks ago, Pastor Jonathan was throwing out willpower alone is not enough. You also need your support group, and you also need God. You need to be able to cry out for help.
indeed. I think it's like,
I think that's where the proof that you can handle it comes from. You know,
it seems like while we're in this flesh, the point isn't just avoidance. Point is the coming back. That's the beauty.
yes.
Of where we live now in this kingdom. We live in a kingdom where we can make mistakes and easily come back every time. That's the beauty. That's the forgiveness, this covering of forgiveness that we live in.
And I think also, I mean, this isn't me saying whatever your poison or your vice is right, but like also sometimes I feel like people who are going through trying to fight whatever that vice is or that poison is or that sin is, like sometimes I feel like they can be a little too hard on themselves, and in doing so it can like hyper fixate them on whatever that issue is, and that's like all that they can focus on, when sometimes I feel like they should maybe just take a set, like as hard as it can be, like take a second and step back from it when that thought passes your mind, and just realize that, like, hey, I realize that this is an issue. This does have a vice on me, but also the fact that I do recognize that this is an issue. Like, be grateful to yourself or acknowledge to yourself that like you are smart enough and you do realize that this is an issue and that you are fixing it, and it's a work in progress. And I mean,
Yeah.
built in a day. I mean, it's something that it can take time. And I think Paul's, and it seems like just about everyone that I've read in here, like issues aren't fixed overnight, at least especially in the flesh. Like it's something that will probably always fight us, but I mean, you have to give yourself a little grace, and then like kind of like what Daniel was saying, like have your support groups. I mean, obviously pray, talk, but I think it's awesome too that you guys, like in the verses here, you guys are bringing your issues to the light. Like you're not just hiding them in darkness. You guys could easily just be come to Bible study here, we could talk about the verses and go on with your day and never bring it up, but you guys take the strength upon you and say, hey, I have an issue. I don't know if you guys have the answers for it, but I'm just bringing to light that I have this issue. And I think that's awesome. And you guys really should give yourself some grace or peace for that, because I mean, there's a lot to be said just recognizing that an issue is there. I mean, that's far more than I think the average Joe can do.
Yeah. It also comes back to the idea that like you're saying, resistance just hyperfixates you on the idea in the first place. What is your other option? And that is to turn to Jesus and hyperfixate on Jesus with no other agenda. And I'm not good at that, but that is something that I have tried before, and it has worked. And it's like, whoa. I mean, when I'm anxious and worried about something, it's like, think about Jesus and nothing else. And it's amazing. I mean, it's difficult to do, but it's amazing how calmed down I get in those moments.
Agreed. But like I said, I think it's awesome that you recognize it, and the fact that you're practicing to try and make it better. Like, you could easily just say, this is just kind of my poison, my vice. I'm just going to deal with it and go on. So,
yeah. Good stuff. Thank you.
What a gift it is to have good brothers that listen and don't judge, but encourage and pray and priceless.
Agreed.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Well, I think I'm gonna sign off here. I'm gonna get back to the trailer and cook some breakfast. Get moving with my day.
Yep.
Love you guys. Thanks for being here today and encouraging me and listening.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Lauren, would you pray us out today?
Yeah. Dear Lord Jesus, our Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for this time, for us to gather together and share in your readings, and also share in the skeletons we might be having in our closet or the darkness that we're fighting, but allowing us to come together in brotherhood and talk amongst each other and grow closer to you and bring those issues to the light, so that